All right, so let me pull up. My phone is frozen. So I wanted to go live simply to talk about some things. Um, in the group, We Jump in Sand, the Facebook group, there's been a lot of great questions, and I'm probably going to end up doing vlogs or videos explaining them or just my perception of it. But I want to answer a few of the questions and go from there. And if you guys have any questions while I'm trying to find this, shoot away. So, also, if you are a jumper, you want to join the group. We Jump in Sand. Right now, we're close to 1,000 members. And if you're a jumper, sometimes you don't have the resources, sometimes you don't have the coaching, or you just want somebody else to kind of look at your videos. There's about 1,000 people in there, close to it. And it's a great place to be. Post your video in there, and you can get some great feedback from the athletes that are in the actual group. There's athletes, there's coaches. I'm in there every once in a while. There's just updates, a lot of good things happening. So join that group. It's on Facebook. We Jump, the letter N, Sand, and it's mainly for jumpers. Some of the athletes do high jump, but it's more horizontal jumps. All right, so I had asked a question in the group a little while ago, and I'm simply trying to find the actual question itself. So I just thought I pinned it to the top, but I didn't. So, all right, well, one question that I did get on YouTube was, hey, if I do the hitch kick, or if I do the hang, or if I'm doing the hang and I switch from the hitch kick, what type of improvements can I see? And there's no real answer. The stuff that you do in the actual air or mid-flight doesn't really make you jump further. It simply puts you in certain positions which allow you to possibly jump further. For example, if you're doing the hang and you're too far in that negative position with your back arched, then when you actually try to land, you have to come from such a negative position to a positive to extend. That might end up affecting your landing, right? If you're doing the hitch kick, same thing. Maybe you go through your cycle and you just don't cycle all the way through and get to your checkpoints and positions. That could be a bad thing, right? The reason why I teach the hitch kick is simply because most athletes are younger. Most athletes aren't strong enough. A lot of the DVDs and VHS tapes that you guys have seen are from the 1%. They're these freak athletes that can pretty much do anything you tell them. They can do a backflip standing if you wanted to. So it's when you're dealing with younger athletes, when you're dealing with high school athletes, you got to coach them a certain way. And that certain way is understanding that they're still learning. Just 10 years ago or 5 years ago, they just learned how to walk. They were in diapers. It's a wide range of athletes. So understanding that piece goes a long way. So the reason why I work with the hitch kick first is they don't have to think more. It's I want you to run, and then when you jump, you keep running in the air. And then we'll just slow down the timing to where you bring your feet together and you land. That's kind of it. The reason for it is when you're running and you just know to jump and keep running, you don't have too many braking mechanics added into it. So a lot of times an athlete will do the hang and they'll go straight into their jump, and then the second they take off, they go into the back bend. When you go into the back bend, you're actually breaking your core, you're breaking your posture, which takes away from the jump. So I just add those things in, and I kind of keep it as simple as possible. For those who are following me on Instagram also, it was pretty cool. Yesterday we had practice, and literally I think 2 or 3 athletes are returning. The rest are all pretty much brand new, from all ages down to 7, 8 years old. And we went through all of our base training, you know, the Stasi workouts. We went through just a lot of things. And now we're in part of season where I'm starting to introduce bounding, certain concepts. Our workouts are more track and field inspired. And the fact that all 25 or so athletes were able to bound correctly and look good and do it safely, that was a huge success. You know, a lot of coaches do periodical testing to see where the athletes are. I'm not a big fan of the testing because I basically know where they are because I can see it within their movements. Plus, you know, if we're working on speed training and we haven't even touched into speed yet, then what's the benefit there, right? I could go deeper into that, but I'm not at the moment. But basically, is I have the program and I just keep progressing it through. And as they progress through, the motor skills are learned step by step. So then when I introduce triple jump to a 10-year-old who's not really going to triple jump, but just the fact that they're going to be introduced to bounding, the fact that they can do it the first day, it just shows that the motor skills are being set. All right, so the questions that I have been receiving on YouTube, and I just posted a question about sports injuries coming into each sport and how you can still perform really well. Pierre, thank you. I appreciate it. Just with, you know, I know athletes that have pulled a hamstring and they're in football and they make the game-winning catch and they're just running routes. And I'm thinking, like, when I pulled my hamstring, I couldn't even move, right? And even if I could move, I was never going to be able to triple jump or hurdle at any speed comparable to any type of place, whether it's high school or whatever. So I just kind of brought that idea up of which sport, what was the actual comment that I said? I literally just posted it. Oh, which is the toughest sport? So obviously you guys are going to have your own perception of what toughness is, but I just want to hear the ideas. I don't really have a goal of which one really is, other than I just know that track and field athletes, if you're sore and you're not really feeling good, you're not going to break a world record. You're not going to run your fastest time. You're not going to jump your best simply because you're sore. I mean, there was one track meet where I was at Occidental College in LA, and I did the complex too hard, and I was so sore, like I couldn't even like squat without even feeling good at all. And I think I jumped like 46 feet, and I was low-key embarrassed, but I mean, I knew what I was doing. I was working on certain parts of my jump, but the fact that I literally could not jump further than 46 feet, the next track meet jumped 49, it was just crazy to deal with that. But okay, so Emma had said you have to be a naturally good runner in order to be good at long jump. If you have no speed, you won't jump far. So if anyone is signing up, you need to be a good runner. There's some truth to that, and there's some myths within that. You don't have to be the fastest runner to be successful at the long jump, but you have to be fast. You have to know or be able to produce the amount of force to run fast down the runway. Speed and height equal distance, so that's the sport itself. But I know a lot of jumpers that aren't really that fast, but what they do is they transfer their energy really well. So being a good runner, I've seen athletes with horrible form get down the runway and still jump pretty far. So what I would say to that comment is, I think I did reply to it. Let's see if I did. I said, yes, speed is the base of the actual... Oh, speed is the base and speed is a threat. One could have too much speed also. So yeah, so if you're a good runner, you know, long jump is a good event to try. Yeah, Mike Powell actually wasn't really that fast, but he was just a freak athlete, you know. I'm trying to see if I'm able to see all these comments, but yeah. So that's that part. And just so you know, you guys, I literally see all your comments. I may not respond to all of them as soon, that fast, but I see them, and I get to them. Half the comments, you guys are just playing around, joking around, but it's fine. If you guys message me and say you need help with your step phase, my answer is always the same. Type in step phase, and I think I have 15 videos on just the step phase. But an important piece you guys have to understand is the step phase isn't the issue most of the time. The issue is your approach, it's your takeoff, it's your angles, it's everything you do that precedes the actual step phase itself. So the best part whenever you're evaluating something is always go backwards and go back to see what you're missing, right? What else? I also put out a podcast or audio post on YouTube, which is Division One a bust, right? It's Division One or bust? Is Division One the best option to go to? And I gave a lot of insight on there, and that kind of inspired me to do another piece. So in my emails, I have a bunch of emails from you guys, and a lot of you guys at this point of the year are asking me, hey, I'm a junior or a senior, I'm really trying to run track in college. What do I do? How do I connect with colleges and coaches? And I kept seeing this common thread over and over and over again. And so what I decided to do was put together an actual course. I sent out the teaser or whatever, it's kind of the invitation for people to check out that actual piece. I'm going to probably most likely price it at $367, and the reason for that is because recruiting services, all that are charging between $500 to $1,000, and they're doing a great job, right? But at the end of the day, if a coach is signed up for recruiting service A, whatever it may be, right? And you're a top athlete and they don't really know who you are, you need to be able to reach out to them, right? Or if you're on recruiting service A and they're signed up and paying for recruiting service B, they don't have access to that database, which means you're not going to be seen. So the huge piece that I think that most of you guys have to apply is you have to reach out to these coaches. There's close to 1,500 schools from all divisions in the United States, but a lot of people don't know that. And so for me, if I was a pretty good athlete or I had an aspiration to compete at the next level, at the college level, I'm going to contact every single school, every single one, and hope that one of them says yes, right? And then if one of them says yes, I'm then going to communicate with them with, okay, here's what I can offer your school, and go from there. I was in a place for my track and field career I was not going to go to a 4-year if it wasn't free. So there was no negotiation. There was nothing. It was just either it's free or it's not. D1 is not what people want. Yeah, okay, so I can't bring that comment back up because I want to be able to see it. Oh, there we go. One is not. Yeah, you're right. D1, what I really describe in the actual course is it's a business, right? It's designed to make money. So track and field is designed to bring in people, and when you bring in these people, it brings more money in, and so it's a business. So yes, there's talent all over the place from other states, other divisions. When I went to Division II, and our top jumpers, the top 3 or 5 jumpers, were the top jumpers in the nation. What that means is our top 2 or 3 jumpers beat the Division I class. So it wasn't like, you had to be Division I for the best competition. Now, some sports there are. The Division I football player on average, right, is going to be a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, things like that. Maybe basketball is a little bit deeper when it comes to depth. But at the end of the day, for track and field, I was running at USC against USC, and I was Division II. We ran against UCLA. I ran against Alan Johnson, and he was literally right next to me in the hurdle race. So it's not like you're losing anything when it comes to track and field. Track and field is very different when it comes to the sport and scholarships, things like that. And let's see. Carol said, I reached out to the coaches for my athletes to break the ice because there are so many instances where the coaches won't acknowledge the kids. And you're right. So we got to remember that coaches are people too, right? And just the way you wear your shoes, right? The brands you wear, the way you wear your hat, all those things. That's just your preference. You're a person. You just like certain things. And with athletes and coaches, you might just not like an athlete. You might not like that athlete's style or the athlete's attitude or whatever it may be. And if you're coaching, you're coaching because you enjoy it, but you want a certain type of person, right? You gravitate towards people that you're like or whatever. So there's so many personalities, and yeah, you might be one of the best athletes in the state, but the problem is the coach that's at your state university simply doesn't want to coach your type of style, right? And it's a fact. It kind of sucks, On top of that, let's say, for example, Dami, she's at Oregon, right? And so they have 3 freshmen, and Lexi's a sophomore. So if your dream is to go to Oregon on a scholarship to triple jump, and you're a girl, they don't need you right now. Now, would they accept spots if you pay on your own? Yeah. But they don't need another jumper for the next at least 2-3 years. And that's a real harsh reality, So it's important to do your research on which schools are out there, which school fits what you're looking for, which schools have your majors, which schools are the best experience. As a Cal State and a UC, they're both in the same state as a California, but they're different. And what's different about them? So it's important that you guys do your research. And so in that course, it's called the College Exposure Crash Course. And in that course, I really dive deep to explain to you guys, first, identifying who you are as an athlete, right? You might say, I'm the best in my state. Well, that's great. I've had a girl that messaged me probably 4 or 5 years ago, but she's like, I'm a 3-time state champion. And I was like, wow, this girl's pretty good. She's like, I'm having a hard time, finding scholarships. And I'm like, 3-time state champion? What are your marks? She's a 36-foot triple jumper, I believe was 5'4" high jump, and long jump was high 17s. And I was like, oh, well, that's why. So she was the best, and I think she was in Connecticut. She was the best in her state, in her class, which is great. Celebrate, right? But then those marks of 36 feet won't get out of CIF prelims here. That's the first round of the playoffs, right? Some of it is, one of the years in our league, I had Jasmine Moss jumping. She's at UCLA now. I had her jumping 38.8. I had Kyra Coley, who just graduated from San Diego State. She was jumping 37.11. I had Alexis Brown, who's at TCU. She was jumping 35.4. I had Aaliyah Forbes, who was jumping 37.1. I also had Maddie Canali jumping 35.4. I think that was the year after. But those are my jumpers. Those are my 5 jumpers in league, right? Not to mention the other girls that were competing against us. So if she were to come into our league, she would have easily been 4th place, right? So that's just us. We're a more competitive league. But what I was trying to get at was identifying yourself and who you are, And then also, yes, you might be the minimum of Division One. You might be an 18-foot jumper, which is kind of the minimum for for Division One. But if you're there at the minimum, that's great. But that means the best you'll get from some schools is a walk-on position, right? But at 18 feet, you might get a NAIA partial scholarship, or you might even get a Division Two scholarship, depending on where it's at. So it's important to understand these things, but also what you're looking for. What if you're like, you know what, I don't care, I want to walk on to, Iowa State. That's perfect. If you can get in with your sport, go. Get in, because you get treated like a scholarship athlete. You get priority registration. You get so much stuff that goes on during that time while you're there. And it's just a great thing. You get all the perks. You walk into a family. There's a lot of good stuff that's going on. So just make sure you understand that piece. All right. So that first part of the course is going to have you really sit down and think about who you are as an athlete, what you want out of a school, but also the type of coach you're looking for. If you're looking for a coach that's really hands-off, or a coach that's really hands-on, a coach that is going to allow you to do whatever you want, or where you can kind of dictate what the workout is. Like, there's all types of coaches that are out there, right? Or if you want just a simple family, all these things are going to be introduced to you in the first section of the course. Then once you have that done, we go to the next part, where I literally teach you step by step how to create a highlight tape for yourself to be able to put out to give yourself exposure. So just like on NCSA, Be Recruited, all these other great recruiting services, you post videos, but coaches want to see a couple videos at a time, right? So there's great interfaces with those other websites, and I still say you want to use those recruiting services because it's just extra, right? But if money's an issue or whatever, this is another option. But step by step, I show you how to create a highlight tape on your phone. There are a few apps that I use. I tell you exactly which ones those are, the benefits of them, and I literally show you how to edit a picture, how to drag and cut and make your video great, and it all has to be within a certain amount of time, right? And then once you have that done, great. Then I show you ways to use social media and social platforms to expose yourself, to get yourself to colleges. Then the last part is literally how to and what to say to these college coaches. What do you say? Do you just call them? Do you, what do you do? And all that's going to be explained. So literally step by step, it's going to be huge. And last year was my the biggest graduating class, and 8 of them are competing in college. Dami's at Oregon, Sophia is at Air Force, Ben Hepner's at Air Force, Simran's at Cal Berkeley, Anthony Victor is at Cal Poly Pomona. Man, who else am I forgetting? Yeah, I'm gonna look it up because I'm a little crazy if I don't remember this. And there was a question that was asked, so I'll pop that up too. So I just posted that post a couple days ago. Titan Rutolo's at UC Riverside, and Keinan Mixon is at UCI. And to be honest, Keinan Mixon is probably the one that stands out the most to me. Oh, and Jake Angier's at OCC. Keinan Mixon is the one that stands out the most because she's kind of like most of you guys, right? She showed up at track and field, and she specifically didn't make the team. You guys probably did, but didn't make a team. And I happened to see her try out, and I realized there's something that she needed to do, and it was really simple. Long story short, 4 years later, from not making the team, I taught her triple jump, long jump, got her base developed, got her stronger, faster, built her confidence, because at that time, if you don't make the team, how do you expect to even make varsity? If you're not on varsity, going to college for track, especially at D1, is not even like in your thought process. But Coach Perkins at UCI saw that she jumped really well. She improved really well. She went 37, I think 37.6 or 37.4, and really improved and ended up making the team. And so who would have thought? Well, I did. but I had to teach her these things. But it was just a process of going. And the reason why he said, you know what, we typically want athletes jumping 40 feet, 39, 38 at the least, was because he's like, I want her because I watched her compete and she's just a ball of energy. She's fun to watch. She's always happy, always smiling. And she's a person that I think this team needs to have in our group just to create that energy. That is a huge compliment. It's a huge praise to Kayla and her mentality and just her parents that kind of instilled these values in her. And obviously, I'm going to take some credit simply because of just each year chipping away at whatever she needed to do. So overall, these are things that coaches are looking for. So that course, what I did was I offered it to athletes that I had been in contact with the last couple of years. But if you're watching this right now, what I'll do is I'll open up. You got to send me an email at info@KeinanBriggs.com. And what I'll do is I'll add you to that list. So basically the first, I believe there's a couple more spots left, but the first 10 people that go ahead and register and pay for that for $299. It's about $100 or whatever. I don't know, like $67 off basically. You'll be able to be a part of the group, and that's a beta group. Basically what I'm doing is going through it. I'm going to be recording our actual conversation, the questions you ask, all those things. And when it's done, then everyone else that purchases the course, it'll just be that recording, right? And from there, you guys also receive a workbook. And the value of writing down your goals is tremendous. A lot of people just say, I just think my goals out. I just think about them and I go. Well, we have 60,000 plus thoughts per day. A lot of our thoughts get pushed because we have so many thoughts going on. It's hard to keep that going. Plus, when you write down your goals, the second you write them down, they just became real because they're literally in this physical world that we live in. So it's important that you write your goals down and put them somewhere you can see every single day, because you've got to be able to just get yourself going in this motion. You see that right here. This is the championship ring from 2018, right? And this is technically the third ring, because our boys team won state 2014. We won CIF in 14, and then the girls won in 18, and we also had like 5 runner-up places. But a lot of it was I wanted to have a championship ring. And before I even thought about the ring, like how I was going to get it, I was competing professionally. And I was like, well, how am I going to get a ring? They don't even give out rings anymore. I'm already done with college. And fast forward, 6 years from when I first put that goal out there, we won the boys CIF state championship and we got rings. So it happened. So some of you guys may say, man, I'm an 8th grader. I only jump 12 feet. I don't know how I'm going to improve. Well, Dami was jumping 12 feet at the end of her 7th grade year. She's now a 41.7 triple jumper, 5'10" high jumper, and 19.2, which she finished up with last season. So everything is possible. Just make sure you write those things down and start living from the end of how would you feel once you accomplish those goals. Okay, so laser daz. If you were a triple jumper with okay strength, but just enough for a second phase and had some of the best technique around, could you still jump far? Let me see that again. Okay, if you were... Yeah. If you're a triple jumper with okay strength, just enough for a good second phase, and you have the best technique, yeah. So a lot of it comes down to, it's a mixture. Willie Banks, when I talked to him in person, he told me, he said the fastest I ever ran was a 10.9, period. And he jumped 59 feet in triple jump, the American record holder. And he's about 6'3". So the answer is yes. 10.9 is not really that fast. If I mean, I think it's fast because I think that's about how fast I ran, but I was a lot heavier. But yeah, if you have great technique, the goal is to master your timing transition, but also understand too, you might be a college athlete, you might be a high school athlete, and you might have the perfect form. What happens from that is your body simply just keeps growing and developing within the sport. Start looking at the average age of the triple jumpers. They're older. If you look at the world championships, most of the jumpers are closer to 30 than not, right? And a lot of it comes down to bone density, joint strength, just man strength, all those things. And if you're saying you don't have the strength right now, just keep getting stronger. Each year that you train, you're going to get better and improve, right? One thing that I do in my program with Leap Squad, right, is every single year we pretty much train year round. We do about 10 or so. No, it's about 11 months on the calendar of training. 10 to 11 months, which is, it sounds like a lot, but here's how I break down the actual rest. We only train twice a week. So out of 52 weeks, you're only getting in 365 days. How many days is that? Somebody can do the math before me, let me know. 100 days? Yeah, 52 weeks times 2. 104 days of training. So 104 days of training for the club team is about 4 months of actual training. So when you look at it, it's not really that much. We're just always staying in shape. Now, could you do like most people do and simply only come out to track when track's in? We could. The problem is your body can't really adapt and develop how it needs to as fast as possible. All right. A lot of people literally go from football to basketball to track, and then by their 5th or 6th track meet, their body's ready to go. But that's when league is, and now you got to perform and stay this every 2 or 3 weeks after that. So it's a short season. And when I was in Minnesota, they were talking about the weather, and they only really have 10 weeks of season. I mean, you can't even lose weight healthy in 10 weeks. Like literally, if you're on a diet, it's usually 12 weeks or whatever. So most fitness programs are 12 weeks. So it's hard to really get in shape unless you're doing things prior to. Now, can you still be one of the best athletes around just by hopping into sport? Yeah, right. I have no idea what I'm talking about right now. But what I'm just trying to get at is we train, we stay in shape year round, and that's that. Now, if you're not in track all year round, it's okay. It's not a bad thing. There's a lot of things you could be doing, and a lot of it is just maintenance of your body and allowing your body to slowly develop. So if I had an athlete that did 3 sports and they came out to track when track started, I would look at it as, okay, if we only have 10 weeks of season, we're going to spend about 5 weeks just general base training and literally training through the track meets, using the track meets as practice, and then spend the last month just developing technical aspects and doing whatever we can do. But that's that. The last thing I wanted to talk about to you guys is Leap Fest. Leap Fest is January 4th. It's at Modern Day High School. This is the 4th annual Leap Fest. Last year was really, really exciting. We had Will Clay, Omar Craddock, Chris Bernard, Brittany Reese, their coach Jeremy Fisher was there. A couple other guys, Corey Crawford was there from the training center, and it wasn't like they were sitting behind a chair and you had to stand in line to meet them. They were literally just walking around, and you can ask them questions. They were really just enjoying the environment. For those who don't know, it's a jumps only track meet, long triple, high jump, and pole vault. It's in Southern California, so for those who are not from the state, last year was pretty cold, and cold was maybe 59 degrees, maybe like low 60s, high 50s. The year before that, I want to say it was like 70 something, and the year before that, it was pretty hot. So it was like mid 70s the 2 years prior to that. Last year we had, I think, about 100 and 60 or 160 athletes on the runway, jumping from as young as 5 years old all the way up to professional athletes. We had coaches from Cal Berkeley, Oklahoma, a lot of the Cal States out here, UCI, UC Riverside, Biola, San Marcos. So if you have any dream of competing at the next level, Leap Fest is the event you're supposed to be at. It's during the Christmas break, so you don't have school. You might have the class when you get back the next Monday, but aside from the Pole Vault Summit, it's one of the biggest events that's niche and specialized. When it comes to marks, I mean, the records right now for men's long jump in the open section is 24 something. High school's record is 23.8. The girls, Janan Young jumped 19.2, I think, or 19.4. 38 or 39 feet triple jump was the top mark. Just great marks, but the focus is don't worry about the marks. Come to the meet to first get in front of college coaches if you're a high schooler. If you're a middle schooler, get there to see what high school athletes look like, right? This year we have athletes from Washington, Arizona, working on Texas. We already have a lot of athletes already signed up. And what else? Pole vault, Paige Sumner won last year. She jumped, I believe it was 13.8. And we already have a 14 or 15 foot pole vaulter, 6'4", one high jump. I mean, the marks were very good, but again, the marks weren't the important piece. It's about getting to the meet and hanging out with these national level athletes, talking to them, because at the top level, everyone knows each other. Think about the Olympics. It's always going to be Will Clay, assuming everyone's healthy, right? Will Clay, Omar Craddock, you're going to have Christian Taylor. You're going to have the same group of people, right, at these meets. When you get to the high school level and you're ranked in the nation, it's the same group of people. When you go to your state meets, the same group of people. And just being able to know who they are, communicate with them, compete against them, meet with the coaches. We also have vendors. We have Starbucks. We have Rock and Jump Trampoline Park, who's going to bring some activities out there. I'm still working on getting additional sponsors, which is going to help with just bringing more awareness of the event itself. The early sign up already passed. Now we're on the regular sign up, so it's $30 per event. The reason why I made it per event versus unlimited is because last year we sold out. We were sold out in that time frame. So it's either extend the time frame or simply bring the price up so athletes don't do multiple events and we can have each slot accounted for. So now it opens up more athletes to be able to attend, and we can have more jumpers on the runway. Pole vault is still wide open with competition. High jump still wide open. We have 2 pits for the high jump. Pole vault depends on how many people show up, but registration is now. The sooner the better, because if you wait till December, the price goes from $30 per event to $40 per event. And to be honest, whatever the price is worth it. I mean, Pole Vault Summit goes up to $160. So for $40 to get a t-shirt, we're gonna have a lot of giveaways, and just the exposure that's gonna be there is really worth it. And right now with Maddie Lyon, who's one of the top athletes in the nation, number 2 in the state, and Sophia Hartwell, and obviously, I want to say the Flying AJs, but it's not. It is formerly the Flying AJs, but it's Alpha Speed Academy up in Washington. It's going to be pretty deep within talent, and it's going to be fun to be able to interact with them, exchange Snapchats, whatever you guys do, Instagrams, and have fun. So this year, my personal goal is to get athletes upwards of 3,000 people there, and it's very, very possible. So if you're watching this right now, simply share. If you're not going to be able to come, it's okay. It will be live streamed. Again, so the top finishers, each event is sponsored by a different sponsor. Let's just say this isn't really it, but let's say triple jump is sponsored by Starbucks, right? The guys triple jump. The top 3 finishers will receive goodie bags from Starbucks. So it's even more reason to come because, I mean, if you're a Starbucks drinker, they got gift cards, they have cups, they got a lot of good stuff. So that's one option. You have Press Juicery, which is cold pressed drinks. They're one of the sponsors, and I'm still working on other ones. So if you guys have any connections with potential sponsors, let me know. And on top of that, those who are watching, if you simply want to sponsor the event and get your name out there, we have different tiers of sponsorship. We have the presenting sponsor, which is pretty much like everything that I do, everything that we do with the banners, with check-in, the logos. Your logo will be everywhere. Your logo will be on the microphone that McKenna Guerrero is going to be interviewing athletes with. You're going to be in all the advertisements. There are 2 more spots left for that tier. But then again, there's other tiers, there's major sponsor. And even if you just say, you know what, I don't want to donate that much, it's too much, then there's a $50 sponsor an athlete who is in need, right? So last year we had a couple athletes that, or a handful of athletes that just financially couldn't make it happen. So now we have a way to sponsor those athletes, right? So this year we have the Boys and Girls Club coming, Big Sisters, Big Brothers of America coming, the YMCA. They're going to be in attendance, and if some of them do want to compete, that'll be a great reason to donate and sponsor a specific athlete. There's a lot of stuff going on. The information about the event is on leapfest.org. I just posted, or a couple days ago, or maybe a week ago, I posted on my Instagram. That just a highlight video or a video of the actual meet itself. I have a lot of content that I'm just waiting to push out, and it'll be coming out pretty soon. But that's 40 minutes of talking. That's a long time. But all in all, what I want to say is you guys just keep an eye out for what's going on. And if you guys support me, then show me by simply subscribing to my YouTube channel, because that gives me leverage, right? So if I go out to a potential sponsor that could be a sponsor for Elite Fest, and I tell them I have 10,000 followers, it's good. But if I say I have 20,000 followers, reach of so many, then they're more inclined to say, yes, we'll hop on to what you're doing, right? From there, just make sure you're following Instagram. And what else? I might keep doing this more often, just go live, post it, and then get going from there. But all in all, I want to say, you guys, thank you for supporting me. I feel the energy. You know, I feel like every time I post something, you guys are really interactive. You guys are really there, and it kind of makes me want to keep doing it. I got kind of burnt out with posting videos and things like that, but I feel like you guys want to hear it. So I'm going to keep going with all that stuff, but I'm also going to be presenting packages of very, very detailed information. So for example, right now, the stuff that's on my website or that's on the YouTube channel is free. You have access to it, dig in, right? But when you get specific questions like, you know what, I need this plan of getting to college, then I am available, and there's a package that I'm going to put together for you. I'm working on setting up a camp with Kenny, Jasmine Moore's former coach in high school, and we're ironing right now some dates out, things like that. That's going to be a great experience. And if you have any other questions, shoot me an email at info@KeinanBriggs.com. And thanks for watching. Let's see, I think there was another question. Oh, thank you. And Logan, what's up? Oh, Lagan. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Again, if you have any questions, shoot me an email. Yeah, a lot of people don't like sharing. My thing is, if you're a coach, we're trying to help people. Why would we want to... Legend. Why would you want to keep information? You know, like for me, if I find something out that can help my athletes jump further, I'm going to post it. And if you come tell me, hey, I tried whatever you said before, and I brought it into my training, and it actually made things a lot smoother. Now my athlete got a scholarship. We kind of teamed up and made everything work how it's supposed to. So, yeah, I feel like there shouldn't be any secrets. And if there are, then it sucks because you're only going to be able to influence and impact lives of a very minimal amount versus going further. So, um, thanks again, and I will see you guys next time. What was that? Time soon you're making any high. Listen, the high jump videos, man. Okay, I do want to put more high jump videos on there, but I need to fine tune my knowledge within the sport. So everything that I'm saying, I 100% believe in it and 100% support everything that I'm saying, and I'm gonna work on that. So, bye again.